How did icons become strangers to their own faces? Faces freeze, voices fade behind rumors, and icons slowly turn into strangers. This is not just about beauty, but pressure and the brutal price of perfection. Tonight, we reveal 11 R&B legends who paid the ultimate cost. Stay till the end and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Number 1. Jean Knight. In the early 70s, Jean Knight exploded onto the music scene with Mr. Big Stuff, a bold anthem that challenged male ego and crowned her as a fearless new voice in R&B. The song went platinum, earned a Grammy nomination, and turned Jean into a cultural statement overnight. For a moment, it felt like she was destined for endless stardom, but fame can be cruel. As the years passed, the spotlight faded, Stax Records collapsed, and Jean slowly slipped from the center of music history. When she reappeared decades later at a Mississippi music fair, fans were shocked. The woman they remembered looked almost unrecognizable. Her cheeks were unusually full, her skin pulled tight here, lips swollen. The playful smirk that once ruled the stage seemed frozen behind layers of facelifts with fillers and whispered surgical mishaps. Have you ever seen a legend and wondered where the real person went? The tragedy deepened when people realized Jean never truly benefited from her biggest hit. While Mr. Big Stuff was endlessly sampled in movies, commercials, and hip-hop tracks, she earned little in return. She even sued her former label, but walked away with almost nothing. Is it fair that the industry profits while the artist fades into silence? Number 2. Diana Ross. For decades, Diana Ross was the definition of elegance. As the shining voice of the music supremes, she crowned Motown with timeless hits like Where Did Our Love Go?, Baby Love, and Stop in the Name of Love. Her statuesque figure, wild hair, and piercing eyes made her more than a singer. She became a global symbol of glamour and grace. Even as the years passed, fans wondered how she seemed to outshine time itself. But in show business, beauty is a fragile crown. When whispers of cosmetic touch-ups surfaced, Diana ignored them and continued dazzling audiences. Then came a night in Los Angeles when the music spotlight revealed something unexpected. Her cheekbones looked fuller, her forehead smoother, her lips slightly uneven. In seconds, admiration turned into speculation. People stopped asking how great she sounded and started asking what had changed. The real tragedy was not surgery, but perception. For years, Diana had been admired with awe. Suddenly, she was judged. While she never confirmed any procedures, her image was forever altered. Her once warm and expressive face appeared stiffer, less natural, becoming a canvas for rumors instead of admiration. Diana Ross's story is not just about appearance. It exposes the impossible expectations placed on women in entertainment. She was never allowed to simply be a legend. She was expected to remain flawless forever. And that is the cruel truth when beauty becomes a prison. Number 3. Fontelle Abbas exploded onto the scene in the mid-1960s with Rescue Me, a soul anthem that raced to the top of the charts and made her voice impossible to escape. For a brief, dazzling moment, she was everywhere, on radio, television, and in the heartbeat of pop culture. Her vocals were fierce, commanding, and unforgettable, the kind that made audiences believe music could truly save the world. But behind the spotlight, Fontella faced the harsh reality of an industry that celebrated talent while quietly exploiting it. Frustrated by unfair contracts and broken promises, she stepped away from fame earlier than many expected, choosing family and quiet work behind the scenes over a spotlight that offered little security. Yet time, unlike music, never pauses for legends. When she reappeared years later at charity events and small stages, fans were stunned. Her once radiant face looked unnaturally tight, her forehead smooth, her expression frozen. Eyelid surgeries and facelifts meant to restore youth instead left her face uneven and her eyes locked in a silent stare. The most heartbreaking moment came when she tried to sing Rescue Me. On stage, halfway through the song, her voice cracked, her energy faded, and she broke down, unable to finish the anthem that once defined her. Number 4. Stephanie Mills was destined for greatness the moment she stepped onto the Broadway stage as Dorothy in The Wiz. Still barely a teenager, she stunned audiences with a thunderous, soulful voice that felt far bigger than her size. By the late 70s and 80s, she delivered unforgettable hits like Never Knew Love Like This Before and I Feel Good All Over, earning awards, admiration, and a place among R&B's brightest stars. Yet behind the applause followed a shadow she could never escape: comparison. For years, critics labeled her the girl who replaced Diana Ross. While Diana was praised as glamorous and flawless, Stephanie was unfairly described as less polished. Those words cut deeper than any review. By the 90s, rumors spread that she had turned to cosmetic surgery, narrowing her nose, shaping her cheekbones, smoothing her forehead. With each new appearance, her face drifted further from its natural warmth and closer to an image she had been told she needed to become. Some wondered why a woman with such undeniable talent felt pressure to change herself. Others mourned the loss of the youthful softness that once made her glow. Years later, Stephanie quietly admitted that she felt most beautiful in the early 80s, a confession that revealed decades of self-doubt hidden behind a powerful voice. The tragedy is not surgery that Stephanie chose, but that the industry made her feel she had no choice. Her legacy should have been defined by music, not mirrors. Yet her story proves a painful truth in entertainment. Voices may inspire millions, but faces are often judged first, and even legends can be made to feel they are never enough. Number 5. Millie Jackson was never meant to be ordinary. In the golden age of R&B, she stood out as a fearless voice, bold, raw, and unapologetic. Her music shattered taboos and made her a symbol of rebellion in an industry that preferred polished perfection. Fans loved her not because she was flawless, but because she was real. Yet as years passed, even a woman who once mocked beauty standards could not escape them. When Millie reappeared decades later, audiences barely recognized her. The expressive face that once carried her sarcasm and fire had changed. Her forehead looked unnaturally tight, her cheeks overly filled, her smile stiff and unfamiliar. Whispers followed her wherever she went. Facelifts, fillers, too many procedures chasing youth that could never return. For a legend whose power came from expression, plastic surgery became a silent tragedy. Each procedure promised renewal, but slowly erased the very identity that made her unforgettable. Fans did not just lose the Millie they remembered, they witnessed how the pressure to remain young could strip a legend of her most human qualities. Millie Jackson's story is not just about fame or beauty, it's about how even the strongest black R&B icons can be broken by an industry obsessed with perfection. She did not lose her voice, but she lost something deeper, the face that once told her story. And in that loss, her journey became a haunting example of how plastic surgery can take more than wrinkles. It can take a legend's soul.
Number 6. Della Reese was a woman of many worlds, a gospel powerhouse, a jazz and R&B icon, and later a beloved actress. She built a career that lasted more than 6 decades. Her voice lifted spirits, her smile warmed hearts, and her presence made audiences feel they were standing before something almost angelic. But as she entered her later years, that angelic image began to change. After the mid-2000s, every public appearance revealed a face that looked less natural and more carefully reconstructed. Her cheeks appeared fuller, her skin unusually smooth, and her eyes strangely distant. Fans whispered about facelifts, injections, and endless cosmetic procedures. Though she never confirmed anything, the transformation was impossible to ignore. The warmth that once defined her expression seemed replaced by a frozen stillness. The tragedy was not that Della needed surgery, but that the pressure to remain youthful in Hollywood proved relentless, especially for black women in entertainment. When she passed away in 2017 at the age of 86, the world mourned not only her voice, but the fading of her true essence. Who else do you think belongs on this list? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more stories like this. Number 7. Denise Williams was once known as Naya, the angelic songbird, whose 4-octave range could glide effortlessly from whisper-soft falsetto to soaring gospel power. In the late 70s and 80s, she captured hearts with timeless hits like Free, Silly, and the chart-topping Let's Hear It for the Boy, a song that turned her into a cultural icon. With her radiant smile and gentle presence, Denise embodied joy, faith, and innocence. But as time passed and the spotlight faded, the pressure of perfection began to rise. When she appeared in public during the early 2000s, fans noticed dramatic changes. Her cheeks looked unnaturally full, her forehead gleamed under bright lights, and her once soft features had become sharp and still. Whispers of facelifts, fillers, and nose reshaping spread quickly. The woman once admired for her natural beauty now seemed hidden behind a cosmetic mask. For someone whose music symbolized authenticity, the transformation felt heartbreaking. Friends suggested that the pressure to return to the spotlight, especially within religious circles where appearances were scrutinized, pushed her toward change. Instead of feeling renewed, Denise withdrew further from public life, choosing gospel music and ministry over fame. Yet even as her voice remained heavenly, her appearance overshadowed her message. Denise Williams deserves to be remembered for her music, not rumors. If you love Denise Williams, comment number 7 and let her voice live on forever.